Read a do.
RV, be a good boy. Don't be camera shy.
Don't be camera shy.
Everybody loves you, babe. You're a star.
Biggest views on Harry Ups.
You're a star,
You're
Harry.
a star,
You get the
Harry.
biggest views. You get the biggest views because you're just a little fluff ball.
You're a kitty, Harry.
Oh. He heard you.
All right, Harry, get ready.
Get ready, Harry.
We're back to the warehouse for Floorball 2. We have our second buy team. Let's talk Floorball. Welcome to the Blitzball Boys, a podcast about butt sports in the fart house, but lately about floorball.
No.
I'm your co-host, Brendan Rebel, along with my fellow host, Peter Del Rey.
Hey, Brendan, I hate that one. So you did two really good ones that made me laugh, and then this one, bad.
I had no more ideas, so I was like, let me do something that will make Peter so angry.
Did you, look at, he even heard it. For those who are not watching on the YouTube, go watch on the YouTube because you could see my cat being mad at Brendan for making butts and fart jokes. Right, Harry?
I don't even know if it's so much. I don't know if it qualifies as a joke because I just said the words. Not great. That might be how these are going to go from now on. I'm never gonna say the actual things again. It's just gonna interchange those words.
I guess it fits a game where if you're a Hookline fan, not great.
Yeah, the game was a big fart in the butt house for you.
Big fart in the butt house for me, for all the Hookline fans. Drew Davis, I wrote to Drew Davis on Instagram when he was like promoting it, and I was like, don't even need to watch. I know it's going to be a 9-0 win for Hookline. So then when I was finished, I wrote to him again, and I said, I feel like I need to take responsibility. And he goes, I wanted to tell you so badly.
Can you imagine getting that message as Drew and being like, oh, he has no clue?
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. It was a fun time. Drew's a cool guy. I want to get him on the show.
Yeah,
sometime.
what a good sport. It's so funny how different we interact with him quite a bit out of all the players, and he's such a different Instagram or Twitter DMer, DMer, sorry.
Wow.
And versus like player, he's such like a hardo on the court, on the field, on the ice.
And he's a hardo in the DMs, if you know what I mean.
Oh my god!
Oh, penis joke.
Filthy episode.
It's a penis joke. Put up the triple X's.
Well, it's a penis joke.
It's a penis joke, everybody. Put up the triple X's. It's a bad one. You want some of this?
Yeah, I mean, you all know if you're here. I don't know what insight you're gonna get from us. It was a blowout, but we're gonna talk about it anyway.
We're gonna talk about it. That's for sure. And I've been excited about this ever since I finished watching the episode, Brendan. I can't wait to hear your burn.
I'm pretty sure I didn't say it was gonna be this bad, but I was like, I can't wait for a fucking blowout. I couldn't have expected this.
No, when you said blowout, I
think I said 5-0.
5-0. Yeah, that's what you guessed the score was going to be. I was guessing 5-0. Did you see in my notes the line that I wrote where I said, like, should I even keep writing for non-goals?
That's really funny because I didn't even bother reading your notes because, like, I feel so bad for him. I didn't want to see your labor.
Go, when you get the chance. I know you can't do it right now.
Yeah.
But go and look. It's like a really detailed first period.
Because it's a real
game. And then,
game.
like, a little bit less in the second. And then in the third, it's, like, just red. And for those who don't know, I can't remember if we mentioned it in the episode or not. I change the color of the words to red for goals.
It reminds me of just like in Billy Madison, there's a teacher that for one of the grades Billy's in, that the kids are all just playing, and she's just like, "Is anyone listening to me right now?"
Oh yeah.
See you typing that, like, why am I even doing this right now?
Oh my God, you really need to see, like, when you get the chance, go through my notes because it is from the second period on. It's crazy, but I'm very excited.
Which the game was too.
To hear these.
Well, I hope the burn is as good as my intro. Here we go.
Oh, I hope the burn is as burning as when I pee. Oh.
Hookline Sinkers are ready to stop this team of Canadians dead in their moose tracks, but Chelsea didn't get the memo. She scores to make the game 1-0. We go to the second period, and this is a normal game with a normal score. Holy shit, MacFlurry scores a blizzard of goals and absolutely embarrasses Hookline Sinkers. MacFlurry Power is your Floorball 2 champion.
Brendan.
That's it.
Rude. That was rude. I knew it was going to be something like that.
Yeah.
I was like, it's either going to be like when Jake does the Yankee ones when they lose big and he just like reads sad poems, or you're going to start it off normal and then. So we're not going to go through everything that happened in this one.
Right.
Okay.
Not gonna go goal by goal.
We'll do goal by goal. We're not going to do all of the like intermediate. Drew got off a really good shot. I do want to talk about Drew a little bit.
Sure. Yeah.
Because Drew leveled up from game 1 to game 2 very clearly. He added a shot to his repertoire. Where in the first game he kind of was just trying to get it off. Drew, every shot he took was a slap shot. Does not matter where he was from, where he was standing on the field. Every single shot was a slap shot.
Yeah.
And he was doing it well. He got, for a very long time, most of his shots were on target. But at the end of the day, if you look at the box score period by period, it's like period 1-0. Oh, okay. So it's a game. And it was, to be fair, it was a game. Hookline was very high energy in that first period. So was MacFlurry Power. They were both getting him off. Nick was on another planet in this episode.
I mean, you're still sort of like waiting for Chelsea to score more too. Like every time she gets the ball in the first period, she like gets a nice shot on. They got so many good chances too. You're like, these are going to start falling pretty quickly.
Yeah. Then you go to the second period and it's 5-0. It's like, oh, okay. Well, they got a Pavel goal.
MacFlurry
That's
won
fine
for sure, but let's see how bad it gets.
Well, no, it was like 1 scored in the first period, 4 scored in the second period, and then it's like 8 scored in the third period. Goals total to make the game end 11-2. And I think I know what your play of the game is going to be.
Yeah,
because you have play of the game today.
Yeah, it's the obvious one.
My player of the game. All right. Harry jumped to the chair.
Okay.
He's over there now. But in the first period, like I said, I'm going to try and do a normal recap.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's not going to be a normal recap.
I mean, you can do what you did in your notes, like you said, just like do the best you can, and then as you get to the third period, like, and then we just shut the podcast off.
Well, it was just like for a long time, in the first period especially, Drew was playing a lot better than in the first game. The only thing is that he was acting kind of like Jesse in the episode we did last, where he was getting the ball and he was just shooting and giving the MacFlurry Power possession.
It's hard because he knows like he doesn't have the best ball handling crew, and like if he has the ball, he might as well shoot because you give it to Courtney or Sheba. Neither like Sheba's all, like strictly defense. Courtney still doesn't fully have a hockey shot down yet. She still keeps trying to do her field hockey swing, and like it looks like it's powerful, but it just could go. It's like my toe shot from soccer. It'll go anywhere.
Oh, callback.
So I think he knows like if they want to score a lot of goals, he's got to just rip it when he can.
Yeah, I mean that's what it is. You got Sheba, who's like so averse to going forward for some reason.
Yeah.
Courtney will figure it out. I think we see at the end of the game she does.
I wanted to say a quick little thing before we get to this is just probably a bad take. So I'll get this out of the way early.
Get to play the booze,
Sheba
Brendan.
in goal, and let's get Kane out on the field.
They said that, didn't they?
I think just for that game, but like I think they should start the next game with that and see if it works any better. Because Sheba, to me, and we were talking about it a little bit on our text thread, was a defenseman that didn't really play a lot of defense. I think Drew played more defense than Sheba did. Drew is everywhere.
That's Drew.
It's true. But still, I mean, I want to see. We need a different look back there, or at least put Courtney back there also.
Yeah, I think if there were 3 regular season games, we might see that. But because it's the playoffs after this, I think Kane's going to be staying in goal. But in the first period, like you had a lot of. It was a very even game. I mean, even quote unquote, MacFlurry Power definitely was the better team by a lot. But Hookline was really keeping the defense solid. Kane was coming up big with saves. I think I wish I kept track of stats by period, because I think in this first period we had shot totals on both of the goals that we saw at the end of game one, the total shots on target was like less than the amount of shots on target just in the first period alone.
Yeah.
Both teams were playing well. Then you go into the second period, 1-0 down, Hookline. It's like, hey, we're in this still. Pavel scores on the Pavel play.
Yeah. I don't think it's a coincidence at all that Pavel scored 2 of his 3 goals with MacFlurry, because they know they know how to pass, they can catch passes, they can give passes, and they let Pavel do his thing and help him create space too.
Absolutely. I mean, and as Pavel said, when Hookline called their Pavel play, like Hookline gave him a lot of space, and you got to tighten that up when you're against a pro.
I think so. They gave him a lot of space when there's a 5th guy on the field. Now think about how much space they're giving a team with less people on the opposing side. They're doing that all game long. That they're giving these people that have great shots way too much space to shoot all game long.
Exactly. But they're not hockey people.
Yeah.
Well, one of them is. But that's besides the point. Pavel gets a goal partially because Drew goes to defend. I believe it was Nick. Gets the blade of his stick caught on Nick's foot, and it like jumps out of his hands. He goes and makes a full-on soccer slide tackle on.
It's like, I gotta still play defense out of my stick, but I'm just gonna try and slide into him.
Yeah, misses. Pavel scores.
Pavel
Immediately.
Also, does he strictly shoot like intense wrist shot? I don't know if I've seen him shoot slap shots. He just like whips the stick.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
He's
got a crazy he's
the game
sly
moves
as his
so
stick.
fast.
I don't know how to describe it except for it being like just a very long whippy wrist shot.
Yeah,
goes very fast.
Immediately after Chelsea scores, probably the coolest goal in the tournament so far. Where
when
Nick,
we first see it, it looks like she's like, oh, they passed it to her on the ground and she just tipped it in. Nice goal. See the replay, like, holy shit. That whole thing was in the air.
Oh, you didn't think so from the start?
Didn't realize
the whole
no.
time. I realized that he chipped it up, and I was just expecting it. I was expecting Chelsea to essentially chest it and then hit it when it was on the ground, and she got it up.
Did he
so that her
purposefully
stick wasn't
hit it in
too
the air
high,
to her or no?
I don't know if it was We need to call him up.
Yeah,
I got him on speed dial.
Okay.
Nick, was that on purpose? How'd you get this number? How about you?
Once per episode.
She keeps the blade of the stick below her knees, so it's a good goal. And at this point, it's 3-0, and you're like, okay, this is what we expected.
Isn't that amazing though that she's able to hitting the net is one thing, but to also keep it a legal hit.
Did you see that?
I saw he was trying to attack you. To keep it a legal hit. To hit it in the net, and also the way she just slightly angled it, so it also she didn't just bat it down into the ground and into the goal. She still kept it in the air. It's really
she
cool.
hit it like a baseball. It was cool. Then Hookline calls for their Pavel play. There was one moment I think that felt dangerous in the Pavel play, where it was like a 5-second span where Drew, Courtney, and Pavel all got shots off on target within the 5 seconds. And then that was over, and it was like, well, I guess, what's going to happen now? Hookline just used so much energy sprinting around for the Pavel play.
Yeah, the one consistent thing with all Pavel plays is that he always gets at least one really hard shot off on target, too.
Yeah.
Almost always.
But, I mean, Hookline was running around all Pavel play. Then they're completely beat.
Yeah, you see it right away, right? You see them, beat. Once he gets off the court, they're just now they slow down immediately, and the tempo of the game just drops.
Not beat like they think they lost, beat tired.
Tired, yeah.
And then you see it they play a little lethargic defense, and Nick. Don't do that. I don't know if you heard that, but Harry is he climbed under the desk and now he's scratching at the drawers. I think he wants to get in. Get Puma in here.
She won't do anything. She'll just stand there.
Puma will just purr really loudly.
Yeah.
Harry's exploring every room as if he's never been in this room before. Harry, you're so annoying, but I love you. Oh, okay. All right. So Nick there's a deflection that happens. Ball comes off Chelsea's stick, lands to Nick, and he fucking just perfectly finds the goal with that one. And then it's 4-0. And then Chelsea gets another one where Nick takes a shot that's saved by Kane, and Chelsea just quickly whoop, taps it in. 5-0 at the end of the second. And this
is
is
the one where
point
she
in
did
our
that really
recap.
cool little she whipped it around the goalie and still shot on the other side of the net.
I think
it's hard to describe. I'm not good at describing hockey goals at all, but it was a really cool shot where she went around the goalie and still shot. I think it was called near side, is what Pavel called it.
I think so.
Yeah, that was really cool.
I mean, at this point, then we go into period 3. It's 5-0 MacFlurry Power. Hookline starts with a power play. What was it? 2 seconds?
I didn't even realize they were on a power play. I forgot.
They were on a power
like
play. They played the ball in off of the set piece. Nick steals it and scores for his hat trick.
That was the saddest. That's why I didn't realize it was a power play, because it was not a power play at all. They just
and then they reset it.
Scored within seconds.
Did you notice that?
No.
It was at the point where I thought that the rule was now, if you're up by more than 2 goals in the third, if you score a goal, the next play starts, you're on a power play. But they fully reset the power play. They got another 30 seconds.
And then they scored again with... There's 2 goals scored within 12 seconds, 15 seconds, right?
Exactly. And then Steve scores one. So the broadcast got it wrong. We want to say this. I went back and checked. The broadcast got it wrong. Chelsea did not have a hat trick in the second. By the end of the second, the goal tallies were Pavel 1, Nick 2, Chelsea 2. Then the third period starts. Nick gets his third for a hat trick. And then Steve scores. Steve Dangles scores with a really, really, really nice shot.
Yeah, it didn't just dribble in.
No, from the absolute center of the field. He fucking rips it against Kane, who is very, very good. We know this.
Yeah.
That's
funny.
7 goals.
That kind of says what kind of game it is at this point already. The defenseman's now ripping shots from midfield. Why not?
Well, that's what defensemen do. If you watch hockey, Brendan.
That's what kind of game it is. It's hockey, where defensemen rip shots from midfield. So yeah, I'm catching on.
That is what it is.
I get
though.
it.
If you watch hockey, from the very limited knowledge I have about hockey, and this is just my brother Matt Del Rey, the one that I plug at the end of every show.
Be nice.
Be nice to him. He's a good guy. He's a huge Rangers fan. So I watch to try and bond with him. I've watched Rangers games in the past. Doesn't work. And you learn, the wingers and the centers go up and crash the net. The defensemen always stay up near the middle, and if they get it and there's nobody around them, they're just ripping slap shots from all the way out there.
Okay.
So I guess that's kind of what if he's a defenseman when he plays
I'm
actual
open.
hockey.
I might as well have a lane. Let me just
exactly. And he scored a great goal. Drew gets pissed. Drew gets so pissed here. He's screaming at fucking Shebs and all this, and oh my god, he's so mad.
I mean, there's a. I don't know if it was the same play, but the player, I remember him yelling. Maybe he's yelling a couple times. I don't know. It's kind of valid because Drew is covering somebody, and then the defenseman is right next to Drew, not covering someone. Well, if you're gonna be back here, man somebody up. Why am I the offense guy?
Yeah, but it goes back to what we were talking about in the second, where after the Pavel play, it looks like Hookline outside of Drew just got so tired and just never got over it.
And I've also been there before, playing soccer. It happens too sometimes if you're tired or the opposing team is just really good and you just get confused and you get lost of where you are and you're in this whirlwind of people, and if you aren't focused, you might just end up oh shit, I'm way too close to another one of my teammates and I'm not covering anyone right now. And that's definitely what happened to Shep, especially when this is such a crazy game with goals being scored like crazy. I guess I'll also see you just kind of losing a little bit of focus because of that, just because well, what's the point of this game even happening anymore?
Yeah, but
I mean, that's not how Drew plays either. So of course, he wants to play hard to the final whistle, as you should.
And then you kind of get the feeling Drew is going to play hard. MacFlurry Power is trying to make this a statement game because Nick then scores another goal. You think that they're going to take their foot off the gas. It's it's 7-0. They could have the best period they're ever going to play. They're never going to catch up. Nick says, fuck it. Goes around the back of the goal and just slips it in
Yeah.
for 8.
At this point, you might as well just keep having fun. Just like, let's see how
Yeah.
high we can get.
And then, like, Pat is so out of it at this point. Sheba, he, like, passes the ball to Nick, who can't put one on target. Thank God. Chelsea's over there still, like, making everybody look ridiculous. Chelsea's literally, we talked about this in our, like, big episode. Chelsea can walk the field at a snail's pace
and just dice
and
anyone
dribble through everyone.
So
it's
cool.
crazy. Chelsea is. I'm so impressed.
So
by
this
Chelsea.
episode, Chelsea
And
became,
she seems like the sweetest person of all time.
she's my favorite character player in this entire tournament, hands down.
Oh,
My favorite player.
put it in the books.
Easily.
Put it in the books,
Like
everyone.
Rose was saying too, she seems like she'll score a goal, like a dirty, disgusting goal, and just walk off the field, just smile. It's like, yeah, she seems so humble.
Well, she didn't even want to score anymore at this point.
She couldn't help herself.
She scored one more, and she was like, I don't like that I did that.
Yeah, she gives you that look. But she just is so gifted that with that stick. It's crazy.
Right.
She could do anything with it.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
We're getting ahead of ourselves because after Nick's goal, Courtney scores one, and then it's very much
It's
a
good for her.
bench warmers.
All she wants
moment.
to do in this tournament was score a goal. She got it done.
It's a bench warmers moment where it's like, we will not be shut out. And I'm getting excited. This was the goal I got the most excited about, I think.
This
because
is like
I was like, okay, they're not getting shut out. Then everybody throws stuff on the field, which is, kind of a little bit rude.
Yeah. Well, it's like when people clap for Joe's catching a ground ball after he dropped
Right,
from the previous
exactly.
game.
But I called that rude too.
Yeah.
I called that rude too.
Someone call it funny.
Brennan called it funny. Puma called it
Fuzzy.
You heard it here first, folks. Hookline is like, Courtney is doing a lot better now. She seems to have figured it out a little bit. And then she completely doesn't because Chelsea scores again. She gets her hat trick.
Yeah, there's just going to be such a difference between these players that like play hockey and the ones that don't. You're never going to. You watch them even just catching passes, like people that are throwing passes to their teammates and the other teammate is catching it. That's not happening with a team like Hookline Sinkers with people that aren't hockey guys.
But it's like Chelsea scores for her hat trick and then immediately gets another goal, and like after Chelsea's last goal, you're thinking, are they going to get this 10th or are they going to like pull up?
And why,
it's like,
every time she scores too, like why is no one on her? She's right there and she will score if you don't cover her.
The craziest part about this whole thing is this game felt so over. Like after Nick steals the ball on the power play and scores 5 seconds into Hookline's power play, you're like, oh, this game is over. Courtney scores her goal. And I was like, oh, at least they got one before the end of the game. That's really good for them. And then it like the score bug pops back up, and the time says 2 minutes and 49 seconds. And I said, wow. What? There's that much time left in this game. This is going to be a slaughter. And it was, because Chelsea scores. She gets the 9th and 10th goal. Then Nick scores again.
Yeah. Because
he doesn't give a single fuck.
I love when a team is just destroying another team and they keep trying. That's one of my favorite things. And you love what's the word that you love? Resiliency. I love when a team stomps on another one's throat. It's one of my favorite things. It's awesome.
And then Drew scores one, quote unquote, with like 2 seconds left. And at this point I was just getting
Why do you not think it was a goal? Or like it was barely a goal?
It definitely was not a goal. It 100% was not a goal. Drew scores it. I think there's 2 seconds on the clock, and my note was, Drew gets one as time just about expires off a set play. They're back in it. And then I write, it definitely wasn't a goal and hit the post, but they're going to count it. And then it's game over. MacFlurry
so
11.
They didn't bother, I guess, reviewing it because they're like, whatever.
They didn't bother reviewing it. There were times when Hookline hit the ball out of bounds, and the refs were just like, just give him the ball back. Come on. Like, it got to a point where it was just like, just let him play. Let him have some fun.
See, I believe if you're going to play the whole game at all, like either end the game or play the game to the rules the whole time. So I think they should review that goal. And I want, on our record, on this show, Drew has no goals.
Drew has one goal from
besides
the
this
last
fake
game.
one. Okay, so you know what? But this goal counts as a negative goal because it was fake. So he's got no
Brendan,
goals.
it can't count as a negative goal,
I guess you're right. Drew's got 2
but
goals.
Drew has 2 goals. You know what? Give him a third.
Okay.
So the game ends. Proud of Drew, Courtney, Sheb, and Kane for fighting to the end. I mean, like, this game was over in the second period, and they really
Yeah, giving
did
up to Kane
fight
too,
the
like for
entire
having
third.
you can't get on him about the ratio at which they scored against him versus shot. Like
Right.
all the shots, all the looks that the other team had were wide open, and it was unfair. That most of them weren't savable goals with the way they were shooting at him. So you can't put it on Kane at all. It's purely the defense. But props especially to Drew for just playing sports how he
And
plays
Courtney.
them. And Courtney. I mean,
And
especially
Courtney.
Drew. I mean, he just really he's an animal out there.
Listen, if we're calling out specific members of Hookline Sinkers, Drew and Courtney
Yeah.
did not give up. This is so rude to say, and I profusely apologize for this. There were multiple moments watching this back where I said, Sheba doesn't want to play anymore. He's just walking around. He's not doing, like, especially in the third period.
Yeah.
It was like Sheba just wants this to be over.
Yeah, which
He
is
does
just not how you
not
play
want this to keep going.
defense when you're the only guy in defense either.
Right. Where you have, like, Sheba's walking slowly, hanging his head, and
And we'll remind people
Drew
too that it's
is
disgustingly hot in there too. So
sprinting.
you can't blame him
Right.
for losing that badly at
Listen.
whatever point in the game. And like, you know what? It's probably 110 degrees in here, and I'm losing 9-1, whatever it might have been at the time. Just let me just take a load off for a second. Can't blame him.
Well, no, even like it was. I fully think it was the Pavel play. They went for a. If we score here, we're back in it. If we don't score, we're getting blown out because everybody was gassed except for Drew because Drew has unlimited energy. But like,
I think he thrives the hotter it gets in the room.
Courtney and Drew were sprinting the whole time. Like, Courtney may not have the technical ability that like Chelsea has or Reagan has, but Courtney is there fully with the work rate.
Yeah.
He is sprinting all over. She did not say die once. Her and Drew, I want to specifically call them out. They got absolutely drubbed, but those two did not at any point, at least to me, look like they were just like walking, going through the motion, just being like, just please end this fucking game.
Yeah.
Where, like, you know, other people did.
Yeah. And let's quickly give a little more love to the winners. Just like Nick, an absolute.
A little more love. We're going to give them plenty of love in the awards.
Yeah, that's true too. But he's really good.
One person that we're probably not going to give love to in the awards, K-Mac. Amazing game.
Way to go.
These saves that he were making were big time saves. Like they were not. We see a lot in this tournament of a save, quote unquote, being somebody shooting from a foot away right into the goalie's chest. K-Mac was making real saves,
but
like
those
big
are also
saves.
important too. Like I think Pavel was talking about a couple of games ago how good goalies won't do too much. You really just want to get big and be there and move to side to side. You don't want to be flopping around everywhere, and that's what K-Mac's really good at too.
Right. I'm not trying to take anything away from him from people who get like the one straight into the chest, but it's like he was positioning himself where a ball would come off his shoulder, a ball would come off his thighs. You know, he was making that. We saw Courtney score one between his legs, but he was making that hole between his legs so small.
Yeah, and he saw he tried to close him too. Like you see him like just miss that opportunity.
Yeah, K-Mac was very good. He was like. This was the game where I was like, "Oh, K-Mac's the best goalie in the tournament."
Yeah, he's also always good for an interview too. Just like just being such an asshole in the best way.
Better than Kane, better than Jack, better than Jake, better than Dalton, better than Lucas. I think he is the best goalie in the tournament, bar none.
Hey, with these players on the field.
No, I think period.
No, I'm just saying a separate thought. With these players on the field, having that good of a goalie is what a well-rounded team.
I mean, even Steve, because I'm sure we're going to give Courtney and Nick plenty of praise. Steve, we came into this game talking about how Pat and Steve, in their first games respectively, took on a full role of we're here to defend. That's it. We're not going to push forward. Even though Steve does, because you see this a lot on set plays, particularly, or balls that go behind the net.
Yeah.
Where it's like still playable. You see Steve like comes pretty far up, further than most of the defensemen that play in this tournament. But Steve's defense, he looks like he's not doing a lot, but he's always in the perfect spot to block a shot, to put his stick out there to poke the ball away. He's doing all that, and in this game, he got not just his goal. He had 5 shots on target by my metrics, by my count.
Yeah.
And then 2 other shots that didn't miss by much.
Yeah, but both guys on defense, just awesome positioning. That seems like the key.
He was fantastic. Steve was really, really good. And then you have, obviously, Chelsea, who we've sung her praises ad nauseum at this point. Yeah. Chelsea, I think, is the best stick handler in the entire thing. Like we fucking said. I'm not joking when I say she could walk from one end to the other and dribble through everyone.
Yeah. I mean, Pavel was saying it too. Like she obviously has these trick plays that she could do, but it translates to the game also. It's not just like, hey, look what I can do in my driveway. That stick handling is good for gameplay as well.
Well, the control is such a big thing because you're seeing a perfect comparison would be like Reagan or Nikki or Drew, right?
Yeah.
Those three players, they have this ability to shoot and they have this ability to like stay on the ball. Nikki and Drew because they're like maniacs running around, and Reagan because she's a pro. But they expend so much energy just running and protecting the ball. Chelsea's just walking and dribbling. And she could save so much energy for moments when it counts and moments where they need her to get a shot on target and they need her brain to be sharp.
Yep.
You know, like I'm not saying she's not working hard because she obviously is, but she's expending so much less in those little moments where she has to like go through the defense to get a shot off, that she can afford to save her energy for the shot to make it as accurate and as powerful as it needs to be.
Yeah, absolutely. She's something else. She's definitely one of the more unique players in this tournament.
And then with the last one left that we haven't talked about, I think it's fair to just go into our player of the game.
Player of the game.
You guessed it. Everybody knows who it was. No normal antics today because it was just that dominant. Nick Bowens scored 5 goals, assisted 6 goals. I think if you guys can keep track well, there were only 11 goals scored in the game for MacFlurry Power, and he was a part of every single one of them.
5 goals by itself is nuts. That's a full score for a team, and then to assist 6, that's insane. Yeah,
it's crazy. He was involved in every single play, every single goal scoring play for MacFlurry Power. We talk about Chelsea's ball stick handling a lot. Chelsea is fantastic. Nick might be just as good. I mean,
passes
we see these ones where
crazy too. I loved it.
Where he'll make Kane dive and then just very calmly collect the ball, bring it to the other side, and tap it in.
Yeah, he loved making Kane dive and just be like, just kidding, this side instead. Even some of his passes too that like weren't exactly on target. You realize we're like, oh, well, in order to get it to Chelsea right here, I need to hit it off the boards around the defenders, and then it'll land in her, right in her seat. Like that how cool is that to like watch him use geometry like that, like up off the boards into her stick, she'll score. And then otherwise, he'll just like be shooting passes underneath people's sticks, in between his legs, her leg, like just every combination of things you could think. I mean, that's how it's going to go if you're going to score. If you're going to score 5 goals and have 6 assists, you're going to look like you are lighting the place on fire, and he did.
Not to mention his work rate on defense, and just like to the very end, fighting with people against the boards to keep possession of the ball and and lay it off to get some of these assists that we were talking about. You know, like we said, he was fighting with Drew on the boards before he passed it off to Pavel for Pavel to score in the power play goal.
And while he does those things too, he looks like he knows he's better than you too. He's like smiling half the time.
He's so good. He's so crazy good. It's so impressive. It really is.
Yeah. And we knew he was good, I think, in their first game, but I think it's partially Hookline made him look a little bit better with the lack of positioning and stuff.
Yeah.
But we got a real feel for his skill set in this game.
I don't remember him being this good last year.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was he got invited back and he said, no, we're bringing our A game this time, or if last time he just wasn't feeling it properly.
I don't know.
But he, like, really... We talked last episode about how we thought Reagan was the runaway MVP. It was going to be, like, between Reagan and Luke, right? And Nick just threw a fucking wrench in that entire thing. But
He's
with
my
that...
front runner right now.
It's Brendan's front runner right now, but what's his front runner for the play of the game?
Play the game.
It's Chelsea's baseball home run goal.
Had a feeling.
Yeah, really cool. I mean, we talked about it before. It was so cool. Whether or not they meant to pass it in the air, she still catches it in the perfect spot. She angles her stick so it stays in the air, doesn't just bat it down at the ground and get a bounce goal. It was so pretty because anything that she would have done probably would have been effective. She would have scored if she just decided to catch the pass and drop it on the ground and then shoot. But the fact that she did what she did was just the most Chelsea thing you could have done. And I don't think anyone else in this tournament would have done that, what she did.
Yeah. She has a real feel for the game on a level that we really haven't seen.
The stick is like an extension of her arm.
I think she might be better with the stick than Pavel is.
Yeah.
Pavel obviously is better in a lot of other areas than Chelsea is.
Right.
But I think on the stick, she does some things that I don't think... You know how, like, when you're a kid...
No.
And you play a sport for the first time, or particularly like basketball and soccer, the, like, number one thing your coaches tell you when you're a kid is, like... If it's soccer, it's like just run with the ball at your feet so you get a feel for the ball. Or for basketball, it's like just run while you're dribbling. And then you sort of feel like the ball is an extension of you and you can control it really well if you do it.
It's just there and you don't think about it so much, but it's happening.
Exactly. That's what it feels like Chelsea is. It feels like Chelsea, once she started walking, she grabbed a stick and was just running around her house with a floorball.
Absolutely.
She is so crazy impressive. I can't get over it. I really can't. She blows my mind. She is, I think, my favorite person to watch in the tournament. There were points in this game specifically. There are points in this game specifically where I had to rewind it because I forgot to take notes just because I was like watching Chelsea do what she does.
Yeah. Yeah, I was really excited to see her after game one blossom and get more time to play and just see her abilities. And this was more than I could have imagined.
And she's adorable. She's adorable. She's so sweet. Yeah. Like everything she says, is kind of like has an air of I'm just really happy to be here, guys.
Like saw Nick like the bit he was doing with Kelsey, and she's like, I guess I'm not allowed to answer you for real, so I'll just give you another stupid answer, but I'll smile the whole time.
Yeah.
And then every goal she scores is like, yay.
She was like, I don't know. I was not really made privy to the. You want to jump up?
I almost feel like every time she scored two, and they like in the first couple goals, she felt guilty even doing the MacFlurry celebration too. Just she's not a celebrator.
She's adorable. I love Chelsea.
Yeah.
Give us more of Chelsea. Sign her up for John Boy full time for hockey content. Because I love her.
I like it.
Love her.
I'd watch.
But yeah.
Do we know what the next game is?
We do.
What is it?
The next game, first playoff game. Elimination game.
Baby.
And it's a redo-dedo of the last game we saw. We Got Ice versus Lovyas.
Wow.
And Brendan. Now it's in a do-or-die situation. I would like to hear first your thoughts and then your prediction.
So the game we just watched made me feel like all the good teams got better when they played a second game. and are going to start distancing themselves from the lesser teams. So I want to say that We Got Ice is going to put a beat down on Lovius.
Score.
I'll say 4-1. I'll keep a normal score, 4-1.
Wow.
I will say Nikki scores though.
I like it. I respect it.
Reagan
I
with a hat
think
trick.
it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a little closer, just a little closer. I'm very excited to watch this. Zoe and Reagan seems to be finding it big time. I think I agree with you with a Reagan hat trick, but I think We Got Ice is gonna win this one, 4-3.
Nice.
And Sarah is gonna get a hat trick.
I like that. Wow, that's a bold.
Yeah, I
like
know
that.
it's really bold.
Revenge
but
game
I
for her.
want fun, Brendan.
Yeah.
Sarah, I want Sarah to score so badly, just because like I feel like she doesn't deserve the luck that she's been getting, because she's been finding these really great spaces to just like stand and be free in front of net, and she's either like just missing the pass or somebody's just stepping in front of it where she can score. It's kind of like Chelsea, except
Doesn't have
where
to
it's
finish.
like the game starts and you're like, Chelsea's going to score this game.
You feel it.
But the difference is that she doesn't get nearly as many real opportunities as Chelsea does.
Yeah. I just love that We Got Ice has a duo up top that can pass back and forth and feels like they have a rhythm with each other, and I think that's really important to have in a team, is to have that rhythm.
It's very important. Yeah. But it's also important to stay hydrated, Brendan.
Oh, yeah.
So what should people be drinking if they want to?
Actually, if you want to stay hydrated, you probably shouldn't drink subtle tea because it is a diuretic. But
it is a diuretic, yeah.
Subtle tea is good.
Fuck. I fucked it up.
You fucked that. Everyone's going to think they're going to get diarrhea from our tea.
Oh, man.
And it's funny, though. So Kyle's dad, the owner's dad, John, whenever people would ask him, like, oh, like, you must drink this all the time. Isn't it so? It's cool to, like, your son owns this business. He's like, no, I don't drink that shit. It gives me diarrhea. You can say that it's not true, but he just liked making that joke. And Kyle's like, Dad, we're trying to sell this stuff. Stop saying that. Like, but it's funny.
Yeah. It's very funny, please.
So anyway, it does not give you diarrhea.
Doesn't give you diarrhea.
It's a diuretic.
It's very, very good.
Tastes very good. It's all organic, craft brewed iced tea that I make myself. You can buy it at thesubtlety.com. You can get code $2 off with code HoppyBoys. You can listen to that same show, Hoppy Boys, wherever you get your podcasts. And same goes for The Lonely Boys, which we cover Gossip Girl, if you're into that show, and The Sandy Boys, where we cover the OC.
Is Sandy Boys free?
Peter, no. Many monies. It's $3 a month.
You can't advertise it as if it's free, Brendan.
That's where you know what? People love finding out that they have to pay for things once they click on it.
Where do you pay for it?
Patreon.com/thehoppyboyspod.
There you go, Brendan.
There you go.
This week, I will be plugging Matthew Del Rey. He's a good kid. Be nice to him if you see him. I will also be plugging our YouTube channel. If you want to see my cute cat
it's a big
annoying
cat
the shit out of me
big cat episode.
and trying to bite me, Harry starts right in frame. Go to our YouTube channel.
I think this is going to get us a lot of views, this plug for Harry.
Listen, that's what I'm hoping. Type in Blitzball Boys on YouTube. Go and find the one. There's a couple that's the Blitzball Boys. Find the one that's from Boys Media.
Yeah.
And that's us.
That's us.
Brendan will try to remember to link it. He probably won't. But yeah, go ahead and watch this. Look at our handsome faces, because Brendan's handsome now.
Handsome now. I'm not wearing it.
Oh no, you're pulling a Peter?
You don't wear it because you like to flirt at work? Ooh, you dirty man.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay, so get this. Before we sign off. We got an email yesterday from the head of HR about the company dress code, because a lot of people have been like dressing inappropriately to work. So I do work in an office.
Right.
I work in an office. It's there's about 400 people in the office. We have we're more professional dressed than some of the other offices I've worked in, where it's we still dress
Right. Everybody wears a Yankee jersey.
nice pants. Everybody wears well, one person did one time. Everybody you dress nice pants, button up shirt for guys. Girls wear dresses or skirts and a nice blouse. So recently, there has been somebody walking around work with a trucker hat on all day long, and people with graphic tees and pullover hoodies with logos on it and everything.
Yeah.
So yesterday, HR emails us, just a reminder of our corporate office dress code, and it was men, collared shirts, sweaters, dress pants or khakis, and loafers. Ladies, dress pants, skirts, blouses, sweaters, dress, heels, or flats. Examples of unacceptable attire: jeans,
whatever the fuck
hoodies,
Peter was wearing today.
jeans, hoodies, graphic tees, sweatpants, yoga pants, tank tops, short tops, sneakers, flip-flops, hats, and baseball caps. Now, 2 things from this. 1, the dress code for Friday is casual. You may wear jeans without holes and sneakers on Fridays. However, the following attire is still unacceptable on Fridays: sweatpants, yoga pants, tank tops, short tops, flip-flops, hats, and baseball caps. That means, Brendan, if you're paying attention, graphic tees and hoodies are allowed on Fridays.
Okay.
That's 1. And 2, half the office wore what was outlined as unacceptable attire today. This email went out yesterday.
It's Wednesday, not Friday.
So
I'm good. You know what? Good for them. I'm glad they're sticking it to the man. Fuck that. Dress codes are stupid, and you should be able to wear what you want.
I fully agree.
Yeah.
But unless you're client facing.
Yeah. But if you're all revolt at the same time, they can't stop you though.
That's true. If you're client facing and you're decently high up, there's a lot of stuck up people still in the corporate world.
No, it was pretty insane
that
when I worked in an office, my boss would wear Mets t-shirts that looked like a little yellow from sleeping in them, and a backwards hat. I was like, all right, Ken Griffey.
At my other jobs, I would wear I never liked to go to work without a collar, so I'd wear a polo and jeans with sneakers.
Yeah.
And this job is just completely different, but it's whatever. It is what it is. I don't really. It doesn't bother me that much. But
ask me a question. Dude. Peter, you have anything else you want to talk about?
Nope. Bye.
Bye-bye.